Welcome again to the lecture series of signals and systems. In the previous lecture, we have seen some basic and important properties of the Fourier transform. In this lecture, we will come to know some more important properties of this important tool, Fourier transform, and we will start with the one more important property, which is the time differentiation property of the Fourier transform. The property is time differentiation property. Time differentiation property states that if the Fourier transform of a given signal xt is if the Fourier transform of a given signal xt is x of omega, then the Fourier transform of the differentiation of this signal xt will be equal to j omega times x of omega. We can find the proof as we know the signal xt means the inverse Fourier transform of xt can be expressed as 1 upon 2 pi, integration is from minus infinite to plus infinite, x of omega e power j omega t d omega. Now differentiate this equation with respect to t on both sides. Differentiating both sides of this equation with respect to t. On differentiation, we will get here d by dt of xt is equal to 1 upon 2 pi, integration is from minus infinite to plus infinite. Here, because we are going to integrate with respect to t, and with respect to t, this function x of omega is a constant, so I will put it outside of the differentiation, and this will become x of omega d by dt of e power minus, this is plus j omega t plus j omega t dt. Now differentiation of e power plus j omega t will be equal to j omega times e power plus j omega t, and this will become 1 upon 2 pi, limit on the integration will remain same, x of omega, integration of this term will give j omega e power j omega t dt. Further, this can be written as this is equal to 1 upon 2 pi, integration is from minus infinite to plus infinite, j omega x of omega e power j omega t d omega. This is d omega here. This is d omega because we are finding the inverse Fourier transform. So this is the inverse Fourier transform of this function j omega x of omega. On comparison, on comparing the standard result, we can write it as d by dt of xt, d by dt of xt. Now it is equal to, because this is the inverse Fourier transform of this signal, means it is equal to the j omega times x of omega. This is equal to, because in place of x omega here it is j omega times x of omega. So this indicates that if we are going to differentiate the signal xt in time domain, then we have to multiply the signal in the frequency domain by a factor j omega on the differentiation in the time domain. The next property is differentiation in the frequency domain. Differentiation in the frequency domain. And this property states that if the Fourier transform of the signal xt is capital X of omega, then if we will differentiate this signal in the time domain, means d by d omega of x omega, then the signal in the time domain will be multiplied with the variable t, and here is a term j, or we can write it as minus jt times xt. It means that if we are going to differentiate the signal in the frequency domain, then the signal in the time domain will be multiplied by a factor minus jt. Consider the proof. We know that the Fourier transform of the signal xt, which is equal to x omega, can be written as minus infinite to plus infinite xt e power minus j omega t dt. Now differentiating both sides with respect to omega, on differentiation we will get d by d omega of x of omega will be equal to minus infinite to plus infinite xt, because with respect to omega xt is a constant here, so I will put it outside of the differentiation, and this will become d by d omega of e power minus j omega t dt. Because differentiation is with respect to omega, differentiation of this term e power minus j omega t will be equal to minus jt times e power j omega t. Now put this differentiation in the equation. This will result in xt into minus jt into e power minus j omega t dt. And this is the Fourier transform of the signal minus jt times xt. So this can be written further as, this can be simplified as d by d omega of x of omega will be equal to Fourier transform of the signal minus jt times xt, or we can write it as Fourier transform of minus, or we can write it as, if xt produces x of omega, then minus j times xt into t will be equal to, not equal to, it is the Fourier transform pair of d by d omega of x omega. Or if we will multiply with this quantity j on both sides, this will become j square, means minus 1, 1 minus is already there, this will become plus t times xt. The Fourier transform of t times xt is j times d by d omega of x omega. This is what the frequency differentiation property of the Fourier transform states. Means if the signal is differentiated in the frequency domain with respect to omega, then the signal in the time domain will be multiplied by variable t. This is the differentiation of the signal xt in the frequency domain. Now next property is time integration property. Next property is time integration property. The time integration property says that if the Fourier transform of the signal xt is x of omega, then the Fourier transform of the signal x tau d tau, limit is from minus infinite to t, will be equal to x of omega upon j omega. Means if we are going to integrate the signal in the time domain, then the signal in the frequency domain will be divided by a factor j omega. Now look how this happen. Proof: if we know that the signal xt can be written as 1 upon 2 pi, limit from minus infinite to plus infinite, x of omega e power plus j omega t d omega. Means inverse Fourier transform of this signal x of omega. Xt is the inverse Fourier transform of the signal x of omega. Now replace the variable, put tau in place of t. This will become x of tau will be equal to 1 upon 2 pi, limit is from minus infinite to plus infinite, x of omega e power j omega tau d omega. Now integrate this function with respect to tau, and limit is from minus infinite to t. X tau d tau will be equal to, this will be equal to 1 upon 2 pi, limit is from minus infinite to plus infinite, x of omega, and because we have to integrate the signal with respect to tau, it means that with respect to tau, this function x of omega here is a constant. So I will put this constant outside of the integration, and this will become integration of e power j omega tau d tau d omega. Now what we have to do is we have to integrate this e power j omega tau with respect to tau, and this will give e power j omega tau divided by j omega. Now this can be simplified further as integration of x tau d tau will be equal to 1 upon 2 pi, here limit is from minus infinite to plus infinite, capital X of omega, and this integration will give e power j omega tau over j omega d omega. Now this can be written as 1 upon 2 pi, integration is from minus infinite to plus infinite, x of omega upon j omega into e power j omega tau d omega. This is the inverse Fourier transform of this function x of omega by j omega. So I will write it as integration of minus infinite to t x tau d tau will be equal to inverse Fourier transform of x of omega by j omega. It means that the Fourier transform of the signal minus infinite to t x tau d tau will be equal to x of omega by j omega, or I can write it as minus infinite as the Fourier transform pair as x tau d tau is capital X of omega by j omega. It means that integration in the time domain will lead to the division in the frequency domain by j omega. This is what the this is what the time integration property of the Fourier transform states. Now there are some other more important properties like convolution, multiplication, duality and Parseval's theorem. Now convolution property, very important property of the Fourier transform. The next is convolution property. Convolution property states that if the Fourier transform of a signal x1t is equal to x1 of omega and Fourier transform of the signal x2t is equal to x2 of omega, then Fourier transform of the signal x1t into x2t will give not, this is convolution property. It means that the Fourier transform of signal x1t convolution with x2t will give x1 omega into x2 omega. This is another most important property of the Fourier transform, which states that if we are taking the convolution of the signal x1t and x2t in the time domain, then the signals x1 and x2 will be multiplied in the frequency domain. This will make the calculation of convolution very easy. First, we will look the proof of this statement. We know that the Fourier transform of any signal xt can be written as integration from minus infinite to plus infinite into minus integration of xt e power minus j omega t dt. Then here in place of xt here it is x1t convolution with x2t. It means that the Fourier transform of the signal x1t convolution with x2t will be equal to minus infinite to plus infinite x1t convolution with x2t into e power minus j omega t dt. In place of xt here is x1t convolution with x2t. Now we know the convolution theorem that convolution of signal x1t and x2t can be expressed as limit is from minus infinite to plus infinite x1 tau x2 t minus tau d tau. This is the convolution of the signal x1t with the signal x2t. Now we will put value of this convolution in this equation then the Fourier transform of the signal x1t convolution with x2t will become equal to, it will become equal to minus infinite to plus infinite, and we will put this value in place of x1t convolution with x2t, and this will become minus infinite to plus infinite x1 tau x2 t minus tau d tau into e power minus j omega t dt. Now, on changing the order of integration, changing the order of integration means we will integrate the function first with respect to tau, then with respect to t. Then this will become Fourier transform of x1t convolution with x2t will be equal to integration from minus infinite to plus infinite x1 tau x2 integration of x2 t minus tau e power minus j omega t dt, and integration is with respect to tau. Limit is from minus infinite to plus infinite. Changing of order of integration means first we will integrate this term with respect to t, then we will integrate the total term with respect to tau. Now this can be written as minus infinite to plus infinite x1 tau. First, consider this term t minus tau is equal to another variable, consider it is equal to z, means this t minus tau is equal to z. Then dt will be equal to dz, and now in this integration the limit will be on z, and if this t is equal to minus infinite, then z will be equal to minus infinite, and if this t is equal to plus infinite, then limit on this z will also be plus infinite. It means that further this integration can be written as Fourier transform of x1t convolution with x2t will be equal to minus infinite to plus infinite x1 tau and integration minus infinite to plus infinite x2 z, and this t will be equal to, from here this t will be equal to z plus tau. So in place of t I will put here is minus j omega, in place of t I will put z plus tau, and this dt will become dz, and whole integration is with respect to tau. Now I will write it as minus infinite to plus infinite x1 tau minus infinite to plus infinite x2 z. I will break this e power minus j omega z into e power minus j omega tau. Now this will become e power minus j omega z into e power minus j omega tau, and integration of whole is with respect to tau, here it is dz. Now separate these two terms, put this is not x2t, this is x2z, put this e power minus j omega z with this term x2z, and combine this e power minus j omega tau with x1 tau. This will become, now this will become convolution of x1t and x2t. Fourier transform of this will be equal to minus infinite to plus infinite x1 tau, and combine this with the e power minus j omega tau d tau. E power minus j omega tau d tau into integration from minus infinite to plus infinite x2 z e power minus j omega z dz. Now consider this relation. What this is? For what this is stands? This will be, this is the Fourier transform of the signal x1 of tau, and this is the Fourier transform of the signal x2 of z. It means that we can write these two as, it is x1 of omega Fourier transform of the signal x1 tau, and this is equal to x2 of omega Fourier transform of the signal x2 of z. Now we can combine these results as, we can combine these results as Fourier transform of x1t convolution with x2t will be equal to x1 omega, x1 of omega into x2 of omega. Very important relation, which states that if we are taking the convolution of the signal in the time domain, then in the frequency domain the signal will be multiplied. This will help in the determination of the convolution for the complex signals. For the complex signals, the integration of this integration x1t convolution with x2t, this will become very complex. And to make the solution of such type of signals easy, we will find the Fourier transform of x1t, then we will find the Fourier transform of the signal x2t, then we will multiply these two Fourier transforms of x1t and x2t, and we will get the inverse Fourier transform of this signal x1 omega into x2 omega, and we will find the convolution of these two signals. So this property is called convolution property of the Fourier transform. Next one is multiplication property of the Fourier transform. Multiplication property of the Fourier transform. Multiplication property means if the Fourier transform of a signal x1t is x1 omega and Fourier transform of the signal x2t is x2 omega, these are the Fourier transform pairs for the x1t and x2t, then if we multiply these two signals x1t into x2t, then Fourier transform of this multiplication will give 1 upon 2 pi convolution of x1 omega and x2 omega. Means this is the reverse of the previous property. If we will multiply the signal in the time domain, then convolution of the signal will occur in the frequency domain. Means if we are multiplying the signal in the time domain, then their equivalent Fourier transforms will be convolved, and if we are taking the convolution in the time domain, then their equivalent Fourier transforms will be multiplied in the frequency domain. Now look the proof of this property. The Fourier transform of these signals x1t into x2t will be equal to, integration is from minus infinite to plus infinite, x1t into x2t e power minus j omega t dt. We know that the signal x1t is the inverse Fourier transform of the signal x1 omega. So we can write this signal x1t in the form of x1 omega as, this signal x1t is the Fourier transform of the signal x1 omega. That's why it can be written as 1 upon 2 pi, integration is from minus infinite to plus infinite, x1 omega e power plus j omega t d omega. Now replace this signal x1t in the integration by this term 1 upon 2 pi, integration is from minus infinite to plus infinite, x1 omega e power j omega t d omega. Put this value of x1t here, this integration will become minus infinite to plus infinite, 1 upon 2 pi, integration is from minus infinite to plus infinite, x1 omega e power j omega t d omega into x2t, this is in place of x1t, into x2t dt, into x2t dt. Now here again we will change the order of integration, and this will become Fourier transform of x1t, Fourier transform of x1t into x2t will be equal to 1 upon 2 pi, integration is from minus infinite to plus infinite, x1 omega and here we will assume in place of omega some other variable here. Assume the variable, suppose it is in place of omega, suppose it is z, because omega in the x1t it is already here, this is dz, and here it is x2t into e power minus j omega t is also here dt. This will be equal to x1z e power j omega zt dz into x2t e power minus j omega t dt. Now I will put here x1z, I will put x1z here, and then integration is from minus infinite to plus infinite, this is x2t e power minus j omega t into e power minus j zt dt into d omega dz, sorry, it is dz. I am taking the frequency z for this signal x1t, and this is minus j omega t for the Fourier transform of x1t into x2t. Now this will become 1 upon 2 pi, limit here is from minus infinite to plus infinite, x1 z limit minus infinite to plus infinite, x2 t e power minus j. In place of omega, now I will write omega minus z, this is plus z, omega minus z into t dt, and here it is dz. Look, in this signal, this is integration from minus infinite to plus infinite, x2 t e power minus j omega t dt, j omega minus z t into dt. Now Fourier transform of the signal x2 t is x2 omega, as I stated earlier. Then what is this? This is the signal x2 omega minus z, because this variable omega here is replaced by omega minus z. It means that this is the inverse Fourier, this is the Fourier transform of this, the Fourier transform of this signal x2t will now become x2 w x2 omega minus z. So this is this whole term will be equal to x of omega minus z, because the Fourier transform of the signal x2t is x2 omega. Then this relation states that this is the Fourier transform for this, this is the inverse Fourier transform for this signal x2 w minus z, omega minus z. Now this will become equal to 1 upon 2 pi integration from minus infinite to plus infinite, x1 z into x2 omega minus z dz. What this is? What is this? This is the convolution of the signal x1t and x2t, which is equal to, now as if we see the convolution of signal x1t and x2t, then how it will be written? Minus infinite to plus infinite, x1 tau x2t minus tau d tau. This is what the convolution theorem states, that the convolution of two signals x1t and x2t can be written as x1 tau into x2t minus tau d tau. Here in place of tau the variable is z, x1 z, x2 omega minus z dz. Now it means that this is the Fourier transform of the signal x1 omega. This is not Fourier transform, this is the convolution of the signal x1 omega into convolution of the signal x1 omega and x2 omega. Now I will write it as, on comparison with the standard relation of the convolution, we can write it as x1 omega convolution with x2 omega. It means that the Fourier transform of the signal x1t into x2t will be equal to 1 upon 2 pi x1 omega convolution with x2 omega. This is what the multiplication property states. Means if we will multiply the signal in the time domain, then the signals will be convolved in the frequency domain and multiplied by 2 pi. If we will convolve the signal in the time domain, then in the frequency domain the signals will be multiplied, which is the convolution property of the Fourier transform. These two properties are very important properties. So I will stop here. We will look the further some more important properties in the next lecture. Thanks for listening.